Gotta first clean the table here. Make sure all the dust is gone. And the first thing you need to do after that is find the center of your table. It's easier to mark from or measure from the edge of the rail to the other edge. And I've got 54 inches. Half of that is 27. So I'll put a mark there. And I want to double check that. So I've got 25 3/4 from that end. Need to adjust a little bit. Double check that again. So this is my center mark right here. Then you need to figure out where the head ball is going to go, the depth of it. So make that mark. And this is where the head ball is going to go. Now I want to find that distance there and come back and make the same mark here. Then I want to draw a straight line from this mark back here to this mark, but I don't need to draw the whole line. You may not want to do that to your cloth, so just put a mark there. Now I'm ready to install SpotRack. So I want to flip this over, the front side being down, and I want to take my time peeling this up, making sure that all of the decals stay on the clear transfer tape here. Really important to take your time. If one of these comes up, you want to stick it back down like that. They're all on the paper. So now I've got, that's my spot mark there, and this is the back mark. And every SpotRack will have a line drawn. So you want to get the head ball decal right here where those lines cross. And you want to line up this line with this mark that you've made. Now you want to squeegee it down, making sure that the transfer tape is flat. When it's flat like that, really get in there and rub these down good. Now initially these are not going to want to stick very good. So you really have to make sure they go down well. Now when you're ready to take this top layer off, you really want to take your time here, because again, initially they won't want to stick. So peel it back. Take your time. Try not to touch the bottom of the decal. If it's coming up, mash it back down with the top layer here. Make sure it stays in the place it's supposed to be. And take your time, make sure you're getting all the dots to stay. Gotta make sure they stay in place. Again, just using the transfer tape to mash it back down. Okay, now they're all there. Now what you want to do is heat these up a little bit, and the vinyl will soften and the glue will soften, and it'll conform to the cloth a little better. So I'm going to get a hair dryer and do that. I've got a hair dryer. I'll get it real close to this. You can see that the balls don't change course rolling over the rack system here. They're thin enough to hold the balls in a rack, but they're not thick enough to disrupt any of the ball movement when you roll over them. So, and with the matte finish of these decals, it's real similar to the cloth, the way it feels. And if you really get those on with the heat gun or hair dryer, then it really takes the grain of the cloth well, so it's not going to interrupt anything. So. Okay, if you've got older cloth, existing cloth on the table, and you're installing SpotRack, it's pretty important that you find the divot where the head ball goes. There's always going to be a spot where the one ball wants to sit. So you find that by rolling it around real slow, and it's going to find that divot. If you install SpotRack and you don't find that divot, then all the balls that one ball's going to want to roll up to that divot, and the rest of them are frozen back here. So to find that divot, place the ball in it, and get 4 sheets of paper, whether it be business cards or index cards like I'm using. Any 4 sheets of paper will do. And stick them under here until you get resistance where it doesn't want to go any further. Don't force it under. Just go till it stops. And do that on all 4 sides. And when you get those pieces of paper placed under there, then you can take that ball off. You're left with a 1/4 inch square here, and then put a pencil mark in the middle of that square, and that's where your divot goes, or where your head ball and SpotRack goes. And when you and then measure just like we did before. Measure from the side to get to this point, then measure back here and draw a straight line. And then when you install SpotRack, you want to get the head decal, the center of that goes right where that dot is. The mark that you made, and of course line the back up. And then squeegee it down like we did before.